Good evening and very warm welcome to the news. International and regional business leaders have come together at an investment conference which opened in Amman. The Investing in the Levant Summit is an opportunity to engage in lively and stimulating debates that cover the key financial issues of the region. Deputizing for His Majesty the King, Prime Minister Abdullah Mansour opened the conference organized by the Financial Times. More in this report.
200 business leaders are brought together at the Investing in the Levant Summit in Amman. Preeminent public and private sector decision makers, visionaries and strategists from the region's most important economies and industries are here for a wide range of interactive agenda-setting programs. In opening remarks, Prime Minister Abdullah Mansour said the region is an increasingly appealing destination for foreign investment. But he also spoke of the challenges Jordan is facing with the increasing number of Syrian refugees and the lack of resources in the kingdom.
In recent years, Jordan has had to cope with strong headwinds. The Syrian crisis has had major macroeconomic implications for Jordan. The impact of Syrian crisis, which brought more than 1.25 million Syrian refugees, has put enormous pressure on the infrastructure, energy, health, education, waste management, water resources, and labor market.
The Prime Minister noted that despite all the challenges, his government is determined to maintain macroeconomic stability that would ensure sustainable growth. He said the government is continuing its efforts to adopt a series of administrative and legislative measures in order to simplify the governmental procedures to make the business environment more attractive for further investment.
This is achieved by introducing new modern laws and regulations such as the income tax law, the new investment law, and the public-private partnership law. Most of the new legislations aim at promoting private sector role and improve the competitiveness of the economy.
Speaking at the opening session, Leah Baroudi, managing partner at the Macaulay Advisory Group, explained how to attract foreign direct investment into the region.
We at Macaulay strongly believe in the potential of this region and have decided to promote these unexploited opportunities and assist organizations and governments in ensuring that adequate investment promotion and communication platforms are in place, along with the right policies and frameworks in order to attract foreign direct investment.
The change taking place across the Levant has produced an abundance of investment opportunities in many sectors. The political changes have now put the region firmly back on the radar of foreign investors keen to make returns. Farah Ajlouni for the news at 10.
Prime Minister Abdullah Mansour has welcomed a delegation from the Federation of International Football Association FIFA, who are on a visit to Jordan to review preparations for the kingdom's hosting of the 2016 Under-17 World Cup. The team will take a first-hand look at the sports facilities the kingdom is preparing to hold the competition and learn about the support needed from FIFA and the government to rehabilitate stadiums. Mansour pledged his government's support for advancing the game of football in the country. He said football has witnessed a giant leap in Jordan, noting the efforts of His Royal Highness Prince Ali ibn Hussein as Jordan Football Association President and FIFA Vice President representing Asia. The 10th Special Operations Forces Exhibition and Conference SOFEX has come to a close at the King Abdullah I Air Base. Participants and visitors praised the outstanding level of organization and the modern military equipment displayed by participating companies over the past 3 days. Here's more.
A number of defense industry deals have been signed during the high-profile SOFEX exhibition, which ran for the past 3 days. The 10th Special Operations Forces Exhibition and Conference drew participation by leading global special operations and homeland security manufacturers and high-ranking defense officials and government decision-makers. The SOFEX highlight was a conference of high-profile defense officials and industry leaders, as well as the exhibition that revealed new groundbreaking technologies and equipment in the field of special operations, homeland security, and counter-terrorism. The main goal of the conference was to enhance the capabilities of special operations forces around the world and share tactics, techniques and procedures. During the event, the King Abdullah II Design and Development Bureau Investment Group and Paramount Group of South Africa announced a strategic joint venture that will see the production of proven defense technologies in Jordan.
The product range that Arabian defense industries will market will be products from both the Paramount stable as well as the CAD-B stable, with specific focus being on land systems and aerospace solutions.
Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mash'al al-Zaban, received a number of military delegations attending SOFIX 2014. He met military officials from Egypt, Belarus, and the US to discuss ways to promote ties between the Jordanian armed forces and those of the three countries. SOFIX 2014 is a unique global gathering to showcase the latest counter-terrorism and homeland security solutions to combat today's ever-increasing security challenges. Hiba Al-Atoum for the News at 10.
Syrian rebels blew up a hotel used by government forces in the northern city of Aleppo, destroying the building and causing widespread damage. The rebels detonated explosives in a tunnel underneath the hotel, located next to Aleppo's medieval citadel. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said the bomb explosion caused many fatalities but gave no details. Meanwhile, Syrian forces said they will take full control over the city of Homs. Rebels have held the old city of Homs for nearly 2 years now. Over the past 2 days, around 1,200 rebel fighters and trapped civilians boarded buses which took them out of Homs in convoys. A Syrian official said 80% of the fighters had left and the rest would be evacuated, after which the center of Homs would be declared secure and reconstruction would start. The fall of Syria's third largest city to government forces is a major blow to the opposition and a boost for President Bashar al-Assad weeks before his likely re-election. Meanwhile, the United States for the first time slapped sanctions on a Russian bank for its dealings with the Syrian government. The U.S. Treasury put Temp Bank, a Moscow-based bank, on its list of sanctioned entities, which effectively cuts the bank off from the U.S. financial system. The Treasury also put sanctions on an official in the bank, 6 Syrian government officials, and 2 Syrian refinery companies, Banias and Homs. The announcement came as head of the Syrian National Coalition, Ahmed Jarba, held talks in Washington before a meeting with President Barack Obama. Jarba called on the United States to provide weapons to help combat Syrian government forces. But in remarks to the U.S. Institute of Peace, he said he did not want any military intervention in his country.
We do have a problem with the air forces, the air raids and the barrel bombs. This is making our life a nightmare. So we want weapons that would be able to neutralize the Air Force. We do not want from the West, from the United States, from the East. We do not want them to send their sons to our country. We do not want for Americans to die in Syria, as they died in Afghanistan and Iraq. We do not want them to face terrorism. This is not what we want. This is something we never asked for. We didn't ask for American warships to come to our sea.
A Palestinian rights watchdog said over 1,300 Israeli soldiers, intelligence officers and extremist Jews have made provocative visits to Al-Aqsa Mosque compound in occupied East Jerusalem just last month. The Palestinian Human Rights Center, based in the town of Silwan, adjacent to Jerusalem's Old City, also reported a stepped-up Israeli policy of restricting the access of Palestinians into the holy compound and the Old City. The center, which monitors Israeli violations in occupied East Jerusalem, said Israeli forces last month stormed the complex 3 times, touching off stone-throwing confrontations with Palestinian worshippers. In the occupied West Bank, Israeli troops arrested 18 Palestinians during raids in the cities of Hebron, Nablus, Ramallah and Jenin. Pro-Moscow separatists in eastern Ukraine declared they would go ahead with an independence referendum, defying an appeal by Russian President Vladimir Putin to delay the vote. The decision defied calls by Putin the day before to postpone the vote to open the way for talks with the Kiev authorities. The Russian leader said today the Ukrainian crisis was a result of what he called irresponsible politics. He said an equal dialogue between Kiev and separatists in the southeast of the country would be key to easing tensions. Many in Ukraine's industrial east said the referendum was the only way to prevent war. Pro-Moscow separatists in Ukraine's eastern provincial capital of Donetsk also decided the referendum would go ahead, voting in favor of holding a referendum on independence. The representative for the rebel group, Nikola Nikitin, said the referendum would go ahead as planned on Sunday.
Considering the information from Central Election Committee as well as the expert opinion and appeals from the resident of Luhansk region, the Luhansk Council announced that the decision from May 5 to hold a referendum on May 11 will remain unchanged, with one question: whether you support the act of state independence of Luhansk People's Republic.
Ukraine has rejected the referendum as illegitimate, and Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk suggested Putin's command was proof that Moscow was behind the uprising across Ukraine's east. Russia denies playing any role in the upheaval. Ukrainian officials promised to press on with their campaign to retake control over the regions of Donetsk and Luhansk, regardless of the rebels' decision on the poll. Ukrainian soldiers retook the city hall in the eastern city of Mariupol from pro-Russian separatists after the building changed hands several times the previous day. Meanwhile, the European Union said it's watching developments in Ukraine closely to see if the Russian president's statement that he would pull Russian troops from Ukraine's borders were followed by action. A spokesperson for EU foreign policy said the Russian president's announcement would help de-escalate the crisis. Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan pledged to find more than 200 schoolgirls abducted by militants. Addressing the World Economic Forum hosted in the Nigerian capital Abuja, Jonathan thanked delegates for coming despite the danger posed by the Islamist rebels. France became the latest nation to offer help, saying it was sending security service agents to Nigeria to tackle Boko Haram, the militant group that claimed responsibility for kidnapping the girls from a secondary school on April the 14th. The president has admitted that he has no idea where the girls were, but thanked foreign nations to their support in trying to rescue them.
I'm going to use this unique opportunity to appreciate other countries that have expressed their commitment to help us, especially in terms of rescuing these girls that have disappeared from one of our secondary schools. Of course, the Premier of China has been with us since yesterday for a state visit, and the government of China promised to assist us, and I believe that assistance will come almost immediately.
Back here at home, a Royal Air Force helicopter has rescued a family stranded by flash floods triggered by torrential rains that hit the Jaffa region in the southeast of the kingdom last night. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Lieutenant General Mashal Zebin, had instructed the Royal Air Force commander to send the aircraft to rescue the family. The unseasonal heavy rains have hit many parts of the country, flooding over 20 homes and triggering landslides that blocked roads in the southern Jordan Valley. The rains, which were accompanied by thunderstorms and hail, came after a long dry period with almost no rain since late February. Sotheby's announced that a huge yellow diamond will go under the hammer at the Geneva jewelry sale next week. Experts say the stone is expected to fetch somewhere between $15 and $25 million, as investors were seeking rare stones fresh to a healthy market. The Graf Vivid Yellow is a yellow diamond weighing 100.09 carats that was cut by the London-based top jeweller Lawrence Graf. A white round diamond of 103.46 carats, also cut by Graf, is also going under the hammer with an estimated price of $3.5 to $5 million. Germany injected a strong dose of youth into their provisional 30-man World Cup squad, calling up talented Schalke 04 teenagers Leon Goretzka and Max Meyer. Along with 19-year-old Goretzka and 18-year-old Meyer, who had a spectacular debut season in the Bundesliga, coach Joachim Löw also drafted in Borussia Dortmund's Eric Durm, little-known Shkodran Mustafi of Sampdoria and Matthias Ginter of Freiburg. Germany have been drawn in Group G for next month's World Cup in Brazil, along with Ghana, Portugal and the United States. Brazilian striker Fred will be part of the host nation's provisional 23-man squad for the World Cup. Fred says his hard work had paid off after he was selected by coach Luis Felipe Scolari. Fred plays for a local team and represented Brazil in the 2006 World Cup in Germany. He was not selected for the 2010 squad to go to South Africa and said his determination led him back to the national side. And finally, unstable weather will continue to affect the country tonight with local showers and possible downpours across many areas, while winds will be southwesterly brisk. The unstable conditions will ease off tomorrow, but the chance for light rain will be there in some areas, especially in the morning hours. Winds will be southwesterly, changing to northwesterly brisk. And further south, the Gulf city of Aqaba should expect light showers tonight, but more stable weather tomorrow. Winds there will be northerly fresh and the seas choppy. The weatherman warns of flash floods in low-lying areas and poor visibility due to fog. Next are the lows and highs for tonight and tomorrow. Our top stories once again. International and regional business leaders open a summit in Amman to explore investment opportunities in the Levant. Dozens are reported killed in the bombing of a hotel in the Syrian city of Aleppo as the evacuation of rebels from Homs continues. And pro-Russian separatists in eastern Ukraine ignore an appeal by the Russian president to postpone a referendum. And that's the end of tonight's news. My name is Raad Lepouche. Thanks for watching.